In this video, I'd like to introduce two other applications, two concepts that you can apply to the currency strength indicator to help you in your trading. The first of these is what I call trade management, and the second is really to get a sense of the momentum of any move using the quantum currency strength indicator. So let's start with the first of these, trade management. What do I actually mean? What I mean is that we spend a lot of time focusing on getting into a position, and that's where we really need help to stay in a position and then to exit at the right time. And the currency strength indicator can help you enormously in this respect, and it's one that's often overlooked. As I said, we all focus on the getting in. We've looked at the extremes, the overbought and the oversold, and we've looked at the crossing aspects. And if you think of it in reverse, if you like, well, if it's good enough to get you in, then it's good enough to get you out as well, and also to keep you in throughout that position while you're in the market. What we have here is a 5-minute currency strength indicator on the left, coupled with a 1-minute chart, and this happens to be the pound yen. So what we're looking at here is the pound, which is the yellow line, which has been climbing on the currency strength indicator and is now moving deeply into overbought. And equally, the Japanese yen, the pinky lilac line, has been diving sharply towards the oversold region. Now, suppose, for example, and I've chosen this example particularly, suppose, for example, that we'd taken a crossing position. So on the left of the currency strength indicator, the pound had climbed above the yen had dived below, and we decided to take a position in the market at that point, a crossing position. The pound yen has continued higher, buying in the pound, selling in the yen, and we're now looking at a situation, a scenario, where the pound, the yellow line, is moving, has climbed into the overbought, and the Japanese yen equally has moved deeply into the oversold region on the 5-minute chart. We're trading a 1-minute chart here. Now, what is that actually telling you? Well, it's the inverse, if you like, of the getting in. We're actually looking at a potential. We're now in the market. Is the market about to reverse? Has the pound reached the extent of its travel on this particular time frame on the 5-minute? We're looking at the 1-minute. Has the Japanese yen reached the extent of its travel towards the oversold? And that's what we're looking for. It is the application of the currency strength indicator as a mechanism to give you a heads up on possibly it's time to close that position out. After all, as I said earlier, if it's good enough to get you in and take a position in the market, and you watch that position develop, and ultimately the currency pair moves to the extremes, then logically you would say to yourself, well, it's now looking as though it's time possibly to close. It's not a signal to close. It is merely giving you, once again, a heads up. Possibly those currencies that you're trading have now reached the extent of that particular trend phase. And I've not shown it here, but we're looking at the 1-minute chart for the pound yen, and you could have the pound yen, if you were trading a multiple time frame approach, you'd be looking at the 1, 5 and 15. You'd be looking at what is going on across the time frames and making a decision accordingly. So you could use a multiple time frame approach in your chart, and you could use equally a multiple time frame approach using the indicator itself. But I wanted to show you this as a very simple example of how to apply the indicator in terms of not only managing your trade, because as the trade's developing, you will of course see pullback throughout any market move higher or lower. It's a fact of life. But if the general trend is in your favor, then it will keep you in, along with your other indicators and your other methodologies that you apply. But once the currency and currency pair gets to the extremes, then it's possibly a time for you to look at, to analyze your charts in more detail and think, hey, this might be the time to close out, because the indicator is telling me that the currencies that I'm trading are deeply oversold and overbought. So it might be a time to do some further analysis. So that's what I call trade management using the quantum currency strength indicators. That's one application. The other point I wanted to make with this, because it's a nice example, is that when you're using the indicator, is do look at the steepness of the lines. The steepness of any line will tell you the strength of that move, the momentum, if you like, behind that trend move higher or lower. This again is a nice example with the pound yen. You can see the steepness steepness of the yellow line. It's very sharp, it's rising sharply, which is what you would expect. You'd expect to see that reflected in the price action. It is. The same with the yen. We don't know whether it's pound strength or yen weakness that's driving this move, but for sure there is momentum in the move. Now you could look at one or two of the other currency lines here. It's not so pronounced. The dollar, the red line, yes, it's falling, but it's not falling with any degree of momentum behind it. The other one that's rising nicely is the green one, the Swiss franc. You can see there that was oversold. That's now reversed sharply higher. That's moving nicely. So any currency position that you took against the or with the Swiss franc, you will be looking at a nice trend move, some strong price action. You wouldn't be waterlogged in some weak price action, possibly moving into a congestion phase there. And equally, you can see the same with the New Zealand dollar there. Didn't quite make the overbought on that occasion, but reversed lower, and that's falling away nicely. So the point is this: do look at the steepness of the lines. They are important because they're signaling momentum in that particular currency move. I hope you found that useful. Do please follow the other videos which are coming along, where we talk about other applications for the currency strength indicator. It is a multifaceted indicator, and once you begin to appreciate how to use it, you'll be amazed at the breadth and depth of information that it displays so quickly for you in terms of multiple time frames, in terms of strength and weakness, in terms of applying it not just as an entry tool, but as a trade management and a trade exit tool. It's a fantastic way to apply the indicator in lots and lots of different ways. Hope you found that useful. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.